Oh, I had a shit and bitch telly
Oh, you
that
kept that up?
I kept out throughout the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, just to see how many times they said that. Well, because it's PG, and it was like, wow, that like to me that was the thing that was the most amazing about this movie was that they kept it PG somehow.
Well, I looked it up and they
Hmm.
introduced the at PG-13 rating in 1984, and this movie came out in 1984. So this movie came out before there was a PG-13, and there was just G to G. Just kidding. G,
You snuck that in. That was good.
there was G, PG, and R. And that was it. That was the only ratings. And then they added PG-13 so that there was like another gradation. Is that a word?
Gradation, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
I just really liked how they made it like such a horrible third world country.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, yeah. Like she gets to the airport and there's like riots
just like
as a matter of
chaos.
course. Well, 'cause, like it's not, it's chaos, yeah. But like people are being arrested, people are fighting, people are doing all this stuff, and the buses are just like like come on, get on the buses. Like it's
It's
not
just normal activity.
right. It's so everyday that it doesn't actually like people have to continue to try to operate because it's clearly not going to change, kind of like everyone's just
Right.
accepted it as a matter of course. My first observance is that we're not calling them observations.
What did I say?
Observance.
Oh.
You don't even know. Man, you really need to observation yourself more, Brooke. This is my favorite kind of movie where it does like there's so many things that don't make sense and they're so over the top, but and yet it's just enjoyable. You know,
Well, yeah.
like I have my section for Adam Ruins the Movie is just so jammed full of things, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It just means like
Right.
in some ways I just bask. I just like I love the improbable, impossible things that happen. Like for
Well,
some
it
reason,
makes
that's the best thing about movies.
I just miss that 80s era of movies where it's like quick, quippy, and you know, not super linear or logical, or like there's a lot of jumping through
Mhm.
time, or there's not like sometimes like you just don't get questions answered, and
Yeah.
that's okay. And we're not worried about that because we're just trying to get to a point, and we're not worried about a lot of special effects. The gem is so fake. We're not worried about trying to make it anything look realistic or be real, and we're not worried about, and we're just telling a fun fantastical story, and that's great, and that's what movies are for, and that's fine. And that's that sensibility about 80s movies, and into maybe even to the early 90s. I really miss that. Now it's all like got to be like super shiny and polished, and it's got to have deeper meaning, and it's got to be,
Special effects and right.
yeah, it's got to be a lot bigger deal.
I agree with you that I miss that just like fast and loose style of movie where they can just jump in and it doesn't have to be like so funny or just so, like all these different things that I feel like all the movies are trying to do now. I just love the unpretentiousness of this movie.
Movies today don't have that physical comedy thing that Danny DeVito was doing all of this movie, or there's not that like it's so over the top ridiculous, some of the stuff he does. Like he's like has to crawl on a counter to talk on the phone, and then he like falls off the counter while he's talking on the phone. Like it's just like it's funny and silly, and
It's
that exactly, and that's fine, and it's like wonderful in this movie, but that doesn't happen in movies now, I don't really think.
You know what the thought I had when he fell off the counter? I was like, I wonder if he needed a stunt double for that.
Hold on, I'm going to tell you what came up on Google when I typed in does Danny DeVito. My options are have kids, speak Spanish, have dwarfism, have an OnlyFans account.
Oh no.
and like eggs.
Like eggs. Does Danny DeVito like eggs? Oh gosh. That's from
how many people
gotta be from a movie.
It must be
a show or something. Does he like eggs? The
We're
first,
probably You're probably right. It is probably from a show or something.
I have limited amounts of time to watch things, and
Yeah.
their style of negativity and self-defeating style of comedy is actually pretty funny to me on some levels, and on some levels I like little things that would be to be a little more positive, I guess, too.
Sure.
Just for my own psyche and my own mental health. So yeah, I would in a different
Okay,
in a different
Pollyanna.
life. I don't. Do you ever think like they just wanted to spell her name like multiple different ways, and that's why they called her Pollyanna?
Oh my gosh. I think she's so positive and welcoming that she grows up to be in a poly relationship.
Oh. Like a polygamist relationship.
I did not know she was into video games.
Yeah, multiple video games. Did I expect the conversation to go this direction during a talk about Romancing the Stone? No. And yet, here we are.
The wonderful thing about this podcast is that we never know where we're going to end up.
That's true. It just starts off, she looks so clumsy and so uptight and stuff, and she just gets sexier throughout the movie. I thought that was so fascinating. Like,
that's a trope that's in a lot of romantic comedies. So this is a Michael Douglas production movie, I noticed.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
he's got a producer's credit for it or whatever.
Yep.
He's so young.
He's very young. He looks good. His hair is feathered and lethal the whole time.
Nice. I asked Mackenzie if she thought he was attractive. I always ask her this in the middle of a movie. Like, do you think he's attractive? Do you just because I'm always interested, because I just don't, as a straight male, I have no notion really. Like sometimes I can sense that someone has masculine beauty or whatever you want to call it, but yes. We're 2 for 2 in the last 2 on spit takes from Brooke.
It doesn't take much, but
there's some part of my brain that registers when you're taking a drink. I'm like, you need to say something just a little bit outrageous, just on the chance.
Masculine beauty.
The final condemnation. Even by 80s standards, your hair sucks. Your hair is so bad that even if you were in the 80s, it would suck.
The 80s was not a great hair decade. Unless you're in a metal band and a hair band, then
right. I was about to say, but that was like the era of hair bands.
It was the hair.
I was about to say Hera. Oh my gosh. You got to it first. I had to finish what I was saying. First finish what I was saying. You gotta stop doing that.
That's the only way for me to get a good joke in, is to find those opportunities when you're talking.
Well, I'm still talking.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna stop doing. Sorry. I said I wasn't gonna finish what I was saying anymore. So
Oh my gosh. We have been talking a long time and we haven't even started on the plot.
Well, I did. I think that was a great observation. I made the same thing when we finished the movie. I was like, oh, this movie is her book. This is a book she wrote, kind of like this is.
And then you have to question, like, is the stuff that happened in the movie the stuff that really happened to her, or is it her embellished version of it because she was writing it into a novel?
Right. Well, it was something I noticed right away. So, she goes to Colombia to save her sister. Her sister's being held hostage by.
It was kidnapped.
Yeah, kidnapped. Yeah, sorry, not hostage. Kidnapped. Same huge difference. But so she's going there to save her sister. She has to get a map to some people. So randomly, like for some reason, that this girl, her sister's husband, who has been chopped into pieces since, and for some reason she's just like, I'll just hang out in Colombia on my own, that'll be safe.
She doesn't get authorities involved in any way. She doesn't tell anybody where she's going except for her publisher, who seems to be her only friend.
Right. So she and her publisher's like, you're not up to this. You need to just stay here and write novels for us and date people that based on my judgment.
Ooh, that scene where there's like all the 80s men in the bar
Oh, it was so good.
was so good. Where she's like, that one's too happy and that one's too nerdy and that one's way nerdy. And
I
like,
know, I wrote down Glasses guy is worst.